One of the best things about the days leading up to Halloween is you can binge all your favorite Halloween movies, whether they're scarier movies or more classic ones. I have just had Halloween movies playing in my house in the background for the past 2 weeks straight. So today in The Sims 4, we're building a massive village inspired by popular Halloween movies. And as always, I love to get you guys involved, so I posted in the community tab asking which movies you want to see, and there were so many good recommendations. This video is going to be split into 2 parts because the village is going to be massive. They're going to be full-blown houses, not even tiny homes. So in this part, we'll be building for Halloweentown, Monster House, Halloween, and Hocus Pocus. And in the next video, which will be coming out tomorrow, we'll build a house for Coraline and Hotel Transylvania. I'm going to be uploading pretty much every day for the next couple days because there's a lot going on, there's a lot coming up. So let's get started first of all with Halloweentown. So in this movie, a few kids accidentally follow their grandma to Halloweentown, a town full of supernatural beings. There they learn they actually come from a family of witches and they are in danger from an evil force plotting to take over Halloweentown. So for Halloweentown, we're not going to actually build a house for this one. We are going to open up debug to find a pumpkin. We're going to use this one from Spooky Stuff and we are just going to size it up and we'll place it somewhere in the middle of this lot. By the way, I'm building in Chestnut Ridge. This is a 64 by 64 lot. We're gonna close in this pumpkin, and this location that I'm building is like the main part where they first arrive at Halloweentown. This is what they see, and I'm actually going to raise this up on some stone platforms. So our pumpkin is gonna sit right on top of those. Maybe I made it a little too big. There's hay all around it, so I'm sizing this up here from Horse Ranch, and I'm just gonna place that all underneath this whole area. And I actually learned that the place where they shot Halloweentown, like the actual movie, is actually a real place that you can go to visit. I believe it's in a place called St. Helens, Oregon, and it's super fun because they dress this town up every year. They bring in all the Halloween decor and try and make it look like it did in the movie, which to me just sounds so fun. Now I want to go and visit this place in real life, and I wish my town did something fun like that. Like, I feel like they don't even decorate their houses for Halloween. So this is actually going to be my first Halloween at this house, like, since I moved, and I'm really hoping we get trick-or-treaters this year. We got literally like 1 last year, and we're the kind of house that will buy like the big chocolate bars. We get so excited and then no one shows up, so I'm really hoping this year that's different. So I'm just gonna add a couple more things in here, more of these hay bales. My aim with this village is it can be sort of like a place where Sims could live if they wanted to, but it's also just going to be a village where they could visit. We also need to find a school bus because this is how they get to Halloweentown. So if we open up high school years debug, I think we might find one, maybe. Oh, there it is. Okay, we'll place this behind our pumpkin, and then using terrain paint we can carve out a road. So this I'm using here is from Eco Lifestyle. We'll bring this forward a little bit, and I'm thinking that on either side of this road we'll have different houses surrounding the area. So this is like our central point, and then we'll expand off of that. I guess just to set things up, we could build platforms as sidewalks, and we can line our streets with some lighting. This is from Cats and Dogs, and obviously we're filling this up with beautiful colored trees as well. All right, so far here is our Halloweentown inspired center point. I added this cute little archway here from Cottage Living. Tons of pumpkins going on the interior. I also just added a couple more debug Cottage Living items. Oh, and I added this bus stop here. This part is actually from base game debug, and I added on some spider webs to it to make it look a little bit more creepy. So let's go ahead and build our first house, which will be over to the left here. And what better to start off with than the house from Monster House. In the movie Monster House, a few kids find out that the house across the street from them is alive and it's causing chaos in the neighborhood. They must venture inside and destroy the house before it causes even more trouble. I love this movie. I always thought the idea was so creative. I thought it would be a fun idea if this house in our village was like a haunted house. Maybe it's like an enter if you dare sort of thing, or it could be like a spooky Airbnb where it's like stay here if you dare. I feel like we'll have a few of those. The shape of itself on the outside is actually pretty basic looking. We just have like this one little bump out here, and then there's also a front porch. So I'm using this fence here from Werewolves, and we're gonna wrap that all the way around. I'm putting the front part here up on stilts, so those can be like the little legs. We'll use this worn down wallpaper from Horse Ranch, and for the roofing we're gonna be using hipped roof pieces. So I'm just adding that onto the top for now, and we're gonna bring it all the way across. I'm gonna pull out the adjusters, and then using Shift C on the keyboard, I'm gonna tilt that in a little bit. I'm gonna copy and paste this roofing fencing piece so I can put it right on the front part, and I'll just shrink that down. This house is meant to be super old, so we're gonna be using like old roof paint, some black trim, and then I've actually turned the grid back on so I can add a half-hipped roof piece, and we're just gonna put that over top of the patio. I'm gonna lower it down, I'll add on the roof paint, and then I'm just gonna copy and paste that roof piece all the way around this house. I don't want it to go through the interior, which is why I'm doing it this way, and in a second I'll show you exactly why I don't want it to go through the interior. So there's our roofing. I'm gonna go in with some columns from Werewolves. Again, just some worn down looking columns here, and then also from Werewolves I'm gonna add in this zigzag spandrel, and the reason I'm adding that is because I kind of want it to look like teeth. Same as with the bottom fence, I feel like that might give that sort of illusion. We'll get some stairs at the front here, and we need some windows for like the eyes. So one of them is actually smaller than the other, so both I'm using here are from cats and dogs, and we're gonna use this door here from Werewolves as our mouth. Okay, so here it is on the outside. I feel like you can definitely see the face there, and the landscaping is going to be important too. So they have these dead trees surrounding the house, and these trees actually come alive, so we're gonna add a few of them. At the front I'm adding these ones from Horse Ranch. I've added these trash cans across the street because the kids are always hiding in these, like spying on the house. We also need this ball here because the kids lose their ball on the front lawn. Obviously one of them has to risk their lives to go get it. And I also wanted to add some of these beware signs from Werewolves. So here is our monster house. Could be a haunted house, stay there if you dare. Let's go ahead and do the interior. So building this interior is going to be a little difficult obviously because the house is literally alive and it's kind of a huge mess in there. There are like holes in the floor, so what I'm gonna do is actually build out a little hole in the ground. I'm hoping this works. This is why I wanted to do the roofing that way. So I used my custom room tool there, and I'm just going to go in and delete the inside. Then I'm gonna change the walls to fencing, and I'm using this one from Get to Work, so it's gonna be just like barely visible, and we can add some trim on it. And the flooring we'll use in here is going to be from Get Famous. I also think I'll use this old wallpaper from Base Game, but on the stairs we'll change it up to this. So one super noticeable feature about the monster house is the carpet, because the carpet is actually like its tongue. So we'll have a big carpet leading right inside, and the house actually has a big chandelier in it, which represents its throat, the thing in the back of your throat. What is that called? Your uvula? Is that correct? That sounds wrong, but whatever. That's gonna be our chandelier. And then the heart of this thing is the furnace. So I'm adding this big fireplace from Cottage Living. There are also a bunch of pipes that come alive in this movie. Like the house uses the pipes and the house is its arms. So I think I'm gonna add a bunch of those just throughout the house. And there's also a scene in the movie where they get eaten while they're in a car. Like the house literally eats them in their car. It's crazy. So I'm gonna add these broken down car pieces in here as if this is a collection of cars the house has eaten. And like I said, I wanted this to be like a haunted house, but if you wanted to stay here, you could. So I am gonna have to build a bathroom in the back. So our bathroom can be back there. We can add a bed. And like technically in the movie, someone does live here. So despite that fact, there are a lot of rooms in this movie that you don't actually see. And that'll be a theme throughout a lot of the houses that we're gonna build today. So my main focus will be the rooms that we do see, but for the rest of it, we're just gonna have to use our imagination and go based off of the theme. I also wanted to just add more like soccer balls and just random balls that maybe the house has eaten. I believe one of the kids said their kite got eaten when they were a kid, so maybe I can add in some balloons to represent that. We'll add pieces of rubble around, like this house is literally falling apart. So we've got the broken down car area, some stolen objects. For the bathroom, same thing. I'm gonna use this old shower from Outdoor Retreat. We can use this old sink here and an old looking toilet. I can't move that window over at all because that's one of the eyes. So I'm just gonna add in this broken down mirror from Werewolves. So just basic washroom as like a just in case. In the upstairs corner, I'm just gonna add in some more household objects that could be part of its lifeline. So it's just a big old mess in this upstairs, literally with a hole in the ground, all of the junk, a single weird bed over there if you want. So that's our upstairs, but then going downstairs, one thing we will need is a shrine. So I'm gonna use this skeleton from Get to Work, literally meant to be for a doctor's office, but it'll have to do. We can add a bunch of candles around this skeleton. The ones I'm using here are from Love Struck, some old letters around maybe, and I guess we could also add some flowers. Creepy. For the same reason as the bathroom, I do want to include like a living room a little bit. I want to add a kitchen, nothing too crazy. Like I'm gonna be using the used counters from City Living. Oh, we could do a rocking chair instead of that old chair, and we can add a collection of old pictures in here. Okay, so here's our version of the monster house. It's run down, it looks abandoned, it's a mess, and she's alive. I personally think the coolest part about this house is actually the hole in the ground, like upstairs. I didn't know how that was gonna work out, but I'm glad we got it to work. All right, moving on from here, we're going somewhere a little more scary. I want to go build the Myers house from Halloween. This is a scary movie, but don't worry, I'm not gonna be showing you anything scary. I wouldn't do that to you. And it'll be based off of the original. So the original Halloween film follows Michael Myers, who is locked away for unaliving his sister. 15 years later, he escapes and returns to his hometown of Haddonfield, where he searches for his next victims. So for this one, I'm going to use some terrain, and I'm just going to raise it up a little bit back here, just so that the village flows a little better. I just went around and added some rocks around it too to make it look a little better. And the outside of this house is actually very simple. It's literally, we're going to build a box, and then we're going to put a box on top of that. We need a front porch. And again, the Myers house is an actual real house that you can see in real life. I'm not sure if you can stay at this one or if it's actually just someone's real house, but apparently it's located in Pasadena, California. Roofing again is going to be very simple. We're taking one roof piece for the top and we're just going to lower it down like this. And same thing for the bottom floor. We're just using a half gabled roof piece and bringing it across. Again, this house in the movie is meant to be abandoned. Obviously, after everything that went down here, they had a bit of a hard time selling it, but that's actually how Michael's able to make his return. So it all makes sense, I guess. This series as a whole might be one of my favorite scary movie series, especially the older ones. There's just something about them. I love rewatching at least the first one around Halloween every year. I'm just using these base game windows all the way around this entire thing. Again, it's super basic on the outside. And for our exterior details, there's this one piece of like the eaves trough that is coming down at the front. So I'm raising up this debug piece and I'm just hoping to attach that onto the roof. So it's gonna look like that's kind of coming down like that. We'll add some spandrels. I think this actually might have been one of the first scary movies I ever saw in theaters. Not the original one. It would have been whichever Halloween came out around like 2006 maybe. And I was so scared. I went with a group of friends and there's no way all of us weren't terrified and like trying to hide it and play it cool. I wanted to run out of that theater so bad. Ooh, for an exterior detail, we need a pumpkin on the ledge. Perfect. And we need a for sale sign, which I believe we can find in For Rent. Beautiful. Any buyers? Who's taking? All right, the outside of our Myers house is all complete. I went in and added some more pumpkins, some landscaping around. I tried to mess it up a little bit with some of those wall decals. Now let's go inside. And the interior, again, like I was saying before, you don't see every single room in this house, but there is a place where I know very well where you can see every room in this house. You guys may have heard me mention Dead by Daylight before. You may have seen me play it on stream before. It's one of my favorite games, and it is a scary game, so I am going to show you some scenes from the game with nothing scary involved. But in the game, there is this map called Lambkin Lane, aka Haddonfield. And in this map, they recreated the entire street where this movie takes place, including the Myers house. So I'm going to go inside, look around each room, and we're going to base it off of that. So starting when you first walk in, there's a staircase right at the front, and going to the right, we're in like a little living room. There's a couch here and a TV in this room. So we're gonna add in a couch. We're gonna add in this broken down old TV from the basement kit. We'll add a rug in here from cats and dogs. And this house as well is going to be a complete disaster. Stuff on the walls, spider webs, things out of place. And our Meyer house is a little bit smaller, so it's not gonna be completely to scale, but I think we can fit every single room. Okay, so we have our tiny little living room here, couch over to this side. Let's go into the next room, which is the dining room. We've got a table in here, some chairs, some artwork. Oh, and if you see Michael walking around in those videos, don't be alarmed. It's just my boyfriend. He only killed me like 3 times while filming this, but it's fine. He's counting. We'll add a couple small pictures in here. For some reason, I was getting like base game EA built houses out of the Myers house, which is concerning. So we have our dining room. To the back here, we have a kitchen. Kitchen's a mess. There are dishes everywhere, older appliances, and there are also a couple Easter egg items I think we should fit in here. One of them being obviously a knife block, and the other being an old phone. This is the only one we have from the basement kit. I also want to add in a bunch of dishes and plates here. We'll add our sink on this side. So here is our kitchen. I added a couple of pictures over here. This room I think is the most accurate to what it looks like in the game based off the movie. Cluttered counters on this side. I tried to add mess on the floor, our phone, and knife block down there. Coming along the back, this is where like the basement would be. We're gonna skip that. We're gonna go across, and I don't really know what this room is meant to be. I don't remember this room from any movies. Maybe someone else does, but it looks like a plant room. There are shelves in here that look like this one from Eco Lifestyle, and there are plant pots all around that kind of look like these ones from the greenhouse kit. There's also some boxes. It looks like it could maybe be like a storage room of some kind. So there's this room all complete. And then finally for the bottom floor, we have this other living room. Just a couch and chair in here. There are some bottles on the table. I'm gonna again use some of the basement kit stuff in here with a worn rug from Werewolves. I'm adding in this lamp here from base game. And for our circular dining table, we can add this one here from Tiny Living. And on top of it, the bistro kit has some wine bottles that we can use. It looks like there's also a radiator on the other side, so I'm just gonna add this one in from Vampires. So here we have our second living room. This one's definitely more empty, but I still made sure to add like the little details all around. So that's it for our bottom floor. And then going upstairs, I noticed in the house on that map, there's one room that's locked. I'm assuming that's the bathroom. So I'm just gonna build one in here in the same aesthetic, which is creepy base game core. We'll add an older looking sink over here with a mirror above, some older looking curtains, and I guess also some pictures beside the claw marks on the door. So we have our bathroom. I think this is again a house where Sims could rent. I think most of these will be. And coming across the hall, I believe this is going to be Michael's bedroom. There's like one bed in here, a bunch of debris, a dartboard. So I'm actually going to use this bed here from Horse Ranch. I think we can use a basic end table like this. We'll add a lamp on there. I'll add a dartboard like right here. Then there's also an older looking dresser with a broken down TV on top of it. I'm not over cluttering this house because in the game, you obviously have to run through it. There needs to be openness throughout. So I would also assume that if this house was abandoned for however long, there wouldn't be a whole lot left in it anyways. So this is going to be our bedroom. Low-key very sad in here. Coming down the hall again to the left, we have another bedroom. And I believe this is Judith's bedroom because we see the vanity in here. And for ours, we're going to use this one from Vintage Glamour. She's got 2 lamps on there. The bed appears to just be the same as the one in the other room, but I'm going to add a double bed instead. We'll use the same bed sheets. We can also add a dresser in this corner. A lot of this garbage I'm finding is from Werewolves Debug. I'm also going to add a clothing rack in the background here. So this is our Judith Myers bedroom, RIP. And then coming across the hall to this other bedroom, there's not really a lot in here. There's like a desk, a cork board falling off the walls, and it has closets like, you know, those ones that you could hide in old scary movies. So I'm going to assume this maybe was a bedroom at one point, since I didn't see a parent bedroom in this house in the game, but we are going to add in the closets here from Get Together. Perfect for hiding in. Ooh, we could also add in the old mattress. This is like the first time I've ever used this twice in one build. Maybe I'll put it more so on this side. Then we can add a desk with a cork board on top. I really wish you could angle it to make it look like it was falling off. And here is our final messy room in this house. Could be used as a bedroom, could be used as a study. Wouldn't recommend using it at all. This is actually really cool. I've always wanted to recreate something from Dead by Daylight in this game, so I'm very glad we were able to do that. So far here's how it's looking on the outside. We've got 2 of our houses complete. I'm gonna skip over to this side. We're gonna come across the street here, and right here we're going to build the cottage from Hocus Pocus. In this movie, a teenage boy accidentally frees a coven of evil witches, aka the Sanderson sisters. and now the teenager must save Salem from their terror. So this cottage is also a place that you can visit and stay in real life. I don't think the movie was actually filmed here, but this is what the cottage that you can actually rent looks like. It's a real Airbnb located in Danvers, Massachusetts. I would love to visit this place. It looks so good on the inside and the outside, but for this one, we're gonna make it half a potion shop and half somebody's house. So someone can live in the upper floor, but on the bottom floor, we're gonna make it a place where Sims could come and buy a bunch of potions. For our roof paint, we're gonna use this one from Werewolves. And this house is going to still be a little older looking, but in more of a cottagey way. Like in the movie, it almost looks like it's located in a swamp. I'm adding some trim on here, but I'm gonna use two different types. So I'm also gonna add on this one from Growing Together. We'll use a fence at the front here from Cottage Living. We'll also use a door from Cottage Living, but for the windows, I'm stacking two of them on top of each other from Discover University. Up top though, we can use some different ones like this one from Cottage Living, maybe with a different looking one from Seasons. We need a chimney up top, and I think on the side I'll tie in another set of windows from Base Game. Before we go any further, we need to find the iconic water wheel for this cottage, and I know there's one in Cottage Living Debug. That's not it. It's a tractor wheel or something. Okay, here it is here. We're gonna raise this up and I'm gonna connect it onto the house. I feel like these just add so much charm to any house. Although this one's a little big, there's actually another option in Cottage Living Debug. We're gonna raise this one up. I think I'm gonna have to fix this once I add the water though. So let's see, we'll add in the terrain, make a little pond, fill that up with water, and then I'll just lower that down so it looks like it's actually sitting in the water. So for now, it's kind of looking like that. I wanna add vines going up the side of this, so I'm adding some in from Vampires. I'm also using some from Cottage Living going up the sides and at the front. I'm gonna add some messier paint to the pond. And since we are going for a shop, I'm adding in a couple of signs here too. So with a little extra landscaping, we have our Hocus Pocus potion shop. I added some fencing from Debug going along the side here, and I'm probably gonna bring that through once we finish up the rest of the town. I love the wallpaper. I feel like it's such a charming addition to our scary town as it is. But let's go inside. I've already done the layout, so when we come in here, this is where our main shop is going to be. So I know we're gonna need some counters for our cash register. Those counters there are from Horse Ranch, but in the back I'm actually gonna use these, which are bar backs from the Bistro kit. And we are just going to clutter this thing to the max with potions. The ones I'm using are from Debug, Realm of Magic. This entire thing is going to be full. This is like all of our merchandise. This is probably going to be the most cluttered house that we're gonna have in this whole village. But I also wanted to add candles on here as well. So on the bottom shelves, I'm gonna be stocking it up with these Love Struck candles. I also want to bring in some of the Cottage Living vines on the inside because their entire cottage is giving a very woodsy aesthetic. We can add in some hanging herbs. I even want to clutter up this top part, so I'm gonna add in some pictures from Paranormal. I'm even gonna raise up some different candles up top, so these ones are from My Wedding Stories. I also wanted to add something for the cat in here. There is a cat in this movie, which is very significant, so I'm gonna add some cat bowls under here. And then coming over to this side, I have a little bit of the wheel coming through our house, so we're just gonna cover that up with a shelf like this. I'm actually gonna put this one over to the corner as well. I love this shelf from Realm of Magic. It has such cute clutter in it. I think I'm also gonna add a table. We can add it nice and cozy right beside this shelf. That's not actually functional, so it's fine to go there. We're going to add a spell book. We can add this here. This was actually unlocked by the Reaper's Rewards event, which by the way, mine is broken. I don't know if anyone else like had theirs stop working. I was only able to get to about week 3 and then the UI just stopped showing up. So any of the items from that event, I probably won't be able to get past week 3. It's super annoying because there's some items on there that I really wanted and I've tried everything. I've disabled my mods, I repaired my game. There was an update yesterday, so I'm hoping maybe that'll help. I haven't tried it since then, but I have noticed other people having issues with this event, so it's not just me. All right, so here is the interior of our potions shop. This is like the storefront area in live mode. All the potions are going. I added some more pictures on the wall. We've got an area back here for the cat. And then over to this side, we have our big shelf full of more potions. I also added some bottles there from My Wedding Stories. Oh, and I didn't show you in live mode the cottage with the wheel going here as well. I forgot that actually rotated. Coming over to this side, I wanted to make this into a cauldron room. So we're gonna add a big cauldron right in the center. I wanted to also add 3 chairs in here that match the sisters' colors that they wear. So we'll have a green one, a more purpley one, and I guess a red one. the colors that they wear are very similar for the two of them. I also did include 3 broomsticks on the wall. We're gonna bring in some more vines in this room. We'll add in some pictures from werewolves. I'm actually gonna try and use these herbs in here as curtains. And also from werewolves, we'll add in this moon mirror. We could also add this book in the corner here from vampires. And as a final touch, I'm gonna add in these debug orbs into the cauldron. So it's gonna look like it's bubbling and alive. So here is our cauldron room. We've got our spell book over to the corner, 3 chairs for each sister, tons of greenery in here with all these cottage living vines. And next we're ready to go upstairs. So this is where I want someone to actually live. We'll have like a kitchen here, a bathroom, and we'll have a bedroom. I did ideally want to have 3 bedrooms in here, like 1 for each sister, but I don't think we're gonna have the room, but we are gonna have room for a full kitchen. We've got our trash can, our sink, everything we need. I'm gonna add in these hanging herbs from Laundry Day. Oh, we also have these ones from Journey to Batu. Still a couple years later and I don't really know what these are. We can add an actual broomstick here on the wall, this wall decor here from Horse Ranch, and I also wanted to add in some debug hanging plants from Nifty Knitting. So this is our kitchen. This is one of my favorite aesthetics to decorate in. I could clutter a house up like this all day long. I think you guys probably know that about me by now. And it's kind of fun that we've done 2 like disaster houses today, and we're finishing this part off with a house that's messy and cluttered but still cute. This bathroom is going to be different as well. I want to add a lot of things in here. Our sink is going to be this pretty one from For Rent, and I was thinking about using the bistro mirror on top. I was gonna add in this laundry bin clutter from Laundry Day. We'll add in 3 hanging robes, even though there's only 1 bedroom. Maybe I could build like a basement and add 2 more in the next part. But again, we're gonna have a green one. We'll also add, I guess maybe that'll be the closest color we can get, 3 rolls of toilet paper. These curtains are really pretty from Island Living. I'm adding in these messier towels from the bathroom kit, this wall plant from Lovestruck, and maybe this wicker rug from Cats and Dogs. So here we have our magical witchy bathroom. Candles everywhere, the hanging herbs. I actually found this, the Potion of Youth. I'm gonna add that into their bathroom. I'll add 3 of them. They're not for sale downstairs though. They're hoarding all of these to themselves. Okay, so here is our bathroom. We have 1 more room to go, and that is going to be our bedroom. So I'm gonna model this bedroom after the one in real life because it is so pretty. For the bed, we're gonna use this one from Seasons. And for the curtains, I'm actually gonna use these ones here from Base Game. There are vines coming through from the outside, so we're just gonna cover them up with more vines. To this side, we're gonna add a vanity with the trunk dressers from Werewolves. And I think as a cluttered shelf, I'm gonna use this one from the Artist Studio kit. I need a gallery wall full of a bunch of smaller pictures, so I'm gonna use 2 of them from Lovestruck and we'll just change the swatches. We'll add an old rundown chair over here. Maybe we can add some jewelry clutter from the Crystal Creations kit. I also love using this skull in builds like this. We'll add more potions up here, of course. And I think I'm gonna just keep it going all the way around with more wall clutter. Ooh, we could use this old mirror over on this side. And we could also add a bookshelf on this wall. I'm adding a couple more pictures on the wall. And here we have our Hocus Pocus inspired bedroom. This turned out so pretty. This is like, I need to stay here in this cottage now. I love all of the occult clutter, all the candles going on. This is what it's looking like over to this side. I added more of those Crystal Creations pictures. Of course, more of the vines here as well, which I can't stop adding. But there we go. This is definitely, obviously, my favorite build of the day. Definitely the best looking house that we built and the most inviting somehow. But there we go. We're more than halfway done this village. I really wanted to get this all done in one video, but building 3 houses in one already is kind of a lot. Not even tiny homes at this point. We're just going full-blown houses. There are 2 more spots though for houses to build. So in the next video, which will be tomorrow, we're gonna build Hotel Transylvania and we're gonna build the pink house from Coraline. So that's all I got for you guys today. If you liked the video, if you're excited for part 2, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one.